Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Rapid City Planning Commission meeting for March 21st, 2024. If any member of the audience wishes to speak to an item on the Planning Commission agenda, there are speaker request forms on the table along the left wall. Please fill out the request with the agenda number of the item you wish to speak to and hand it to the staff located on the left of the dais. This time we would also like to ask that if any member of the audience has a cell phone or other electronic device, that you either turn it off or turn the ringer to silent. If you need to take a call, please step out to the hallway so the meeting is not disrupted. Items 1 and 2 have been placed on the consent calendar and may be approved as a group today. Action will be taken on all consent items in accordance with staff's recommendation by a single vote. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar by any planning commissioner, staff member, or audience member for separate consideration at this time. The findings of this planning commission are recommendations to the city council. The city council will make the final decision. Any items 1 or 2 that staff would like removed today for separate consideration? Any items 1 or 2 that any planning commissioner would like removed? And any items 1 or 2 that any audience member would like removed for separate consideration. The chair would then entertain a motion to approve items 1 and 2 in accordance with staff's recommendation.
Motion to approve items 1 and 2 in accordance with the staff's recommendations.
Second.
All right, the motion is to approve items 1 and 2 in accordance with staff's recommendation by Vince, seconded by Karen. Any discussion on the motion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3.
Good morning, Planning Commission. Cassie Hayes. Mr. Chair, if it's okay with you, I'm going to make one presentation on items 3 and 4, but I would encourage you to vote on them separately since they are just a little bit different,
Okay.
but they're for the same project. So items 3 and 4 are rezoning requests to change the zoning designation of property that is located north of Crestwood Drive, east of Downing Street, south of Interstate 90, and west of North Lacrosse Street. So this project is comprised of a few different parcels of land. The parcel that you see on the screen right now is currently zoned Low Density Residential District 1. These properties that you see now are zoned Medium Density Residential at this point in time. Future land use of these properties is Parks and Greenway. For a majority of it, there is a portion, as you can see on the screen right now, of the property that is a future land use of urban neighborhood. So these properties are currently void of any structures at this point in time. What they are proposing to be improved to is a city park known as Knollwood Park. So the Parks and Recreation Department has put in a lot of diligent effort here to develop a master plan for a beautiful park to improve this currently undeveloped drainage area that is used as greenway and is available to the public for recreational use right now. Some of the proposed improvements that are under consideration are a looped concrete path and natural surface trail, a playground, a covered pavilion, a disc golf course, a leash dog park, a half-court basketball facility, restrooms, parking, and wetland conditioning. So the rezoning this to public district would identify the area for public use and allow these proposed park improvements. Both the designations as Parks and Greenway and urban neighborhood are consistent with the comprehensive plan. Parks and Greenway is a primary zone in the Parks and Greenway designation, and urban neighborhood is a secondary zone in the Parks and Greenway. So both of them are consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use. Improvement of this park would provide access to recreational amenities for the neighborhood and the surrounding properties, and would address some safety concerns at the currently undeveloped site as they are proposing to put some lighting, so improve the security measures in this area, and it would also improve the natural features and allow some invigoration of this area. So here you can see some pictures. This picture is taken looking east, towards North Lacrosse Street. This picture, these upcoming pictures were actually taken from above the park, from the parking lot of the Ramcoda or the hotel that's up above there. So this just shows you that it's currently just an undeveloped drainage area. So the Parks and Recreation Department has held a couple of public meetings on this. They have had some really positive comments. They've been able to discuss with the neighborhood some of the current issues that they've been seeing in this area with this being open to public use but currently undeveloped. And they've also been able to discuss their master plan and present that to the neighborhood. And again, they've gained some really positive comments, some really positive feedback, and developing the area would promote security with that lighting and also invigorate this area and provide a nice addition to this neighborhood and the surrounding areas. Parks and Rec has done a fantastic job in the design and the public engagement of this, so we really want to give accolades where accolades are due to the Parks and Rec Department for wanting to improve this and really make this a focal point of this neighborhood. We think it would be a really great addition. So staff is in support of the rezoning request for item number 3, rezoning from low-density residential district 1 to public district, and for item 4, rezoning from medium-density residential district to public district. I'll stand for any questions, and Parks and Rec is here too.
Thank you. Haven, first up.
You know, this seems like a really great idea, but it raises a few questions, and I'm sure been discussed by those that put together this project. One of them would be the issue of the wetlands. Does that, what issue is that going to create for the development, the proposed development?
Once you're up, just identify yourself, please.
Chris Worley with Wiss Associates, consultant for the Parks and Rec. The wetlands themselves won't really be affected. We are going to mitigate a little bit of the wetlands, mainly the wetlands that exist now that are just east of the apartment complex. There's a few ribbons of wetlands that were created just because of some poor drainage coming off of the apartment site. Those are very minimal. We're talking a couple hundred square feet of wetland, but we will be improving the existing wetland by expanding it, mitigating it, and improving the condition of the wetland itself. So we will also be dredging it too, so that will also improve the wetland function.
And I assume none of this development would go against any federal or state regulations on the wetlands?
No, we will go through Army Corps of Engineers for that process, and it's very common. So.
And what is the access? I think and one area would be to the north. What if any access there would be to the north? In other words, under or across the interstate, and what other accesses are there to the proposed park?
Visitor access?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the main primary access is going to be off of East Knollwood Drive. We're actually extending a little bit of the road and a cul-de-sac off of East Knollwood Drive. Currently, there's a cul-de-sac right by the apartment complex. That cul-de-sac does not meet city codes. We can't utilize that for any parking. So we're extending the road through that cul-de-sac and into a new cul-de-sac a couple hundred feet into the park that has proper turnaround and emergency vehicle turnaround in the park. That's going to be the primary vehicle access. The rest of the access is off of Brentwood Street. There's a cul-de-sac there. That would be for pedestrian access only. And same for Herman Street. There's a dead end there. Pedestrians would be able to enter the park there. Also at the terminus of Racine. Racine comes to a dead end right on the south end of the park. And there's a vehicle or pedestrian access there. One of the key features that, when we met with the police department, would be the ability to enter the park with one of their patrol cars. And all three of the accesses off of Knollwood Drive, Brentwood, and Herman, they'll be able to hop right onto the 10-foot wide sidewalk, the loop path, and do a patrol through the park. So I'm not sure if that answers all your questions, but
Yeah, I think so. I've noticed this piece of property for quite a while, and it certainly it could use some improvement, and this seems like a really great idea.
All right, Karen?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no real questions. I just want to say that this is something that's been in the works for 30 years or at least in a long time. And over the years, I've talked to a lot of the neighbors up in that area and visited with the Parks Department and different people about this area. And it's going to make such an improvement for this neighborhood. It's just been an eyesore and it's been trouble for people up there. And I'm just amazed that it's come together, and I really appreciate all the work that you did, because this is not an easy piece of property to work with, and it's finally come to fruition, and I'm just so pleased. So thank you for all your work that you guys have done.
Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. Where the properties back into the pedestrian path and the perimeter of the property, are there any plans for fencing or barriers between private property and the park? And if so, what type, what size, and would they inhibit sight lines, or is that on here and I'm just missing it?
we're not proposing any new fences. Being a park, we're trying for it to be more inviting. Certainly the residents on the back side, the back end of that park where their backyards are right up against the park, many of them, when we talked at these meetings, they understood that the park is supposed to be inviting and not have barriers. So
Sure.
many of them, they have the concerns that this is going to bring activity into their backyard. And so they had concerns, and so many of them are going to be improving their fences on their property.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, I mean, fully support it. I think I'm surprised it's gone this long without any kind of development. I think it'd be great for the neighborhood and the residents, so appreciate the effort.
you bet.
Vicky? Maybe if I can get you there. Haha.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a reminder that rezoning this to public still requires that a building permit be submitted for the structural portions of the project. With that, then, we will ensure that a 404 permit is secured through the Corps for any wetland mitigation that is needed. Turnarounds, setbacks, drainage, access must all be designed to city design standards. We've been very, very pleased with the proposals that we've seen. Again, echoing what Cassie said in her presentation, this is such an excellent improvement for this neighborhood, an area that experienced a high volume of unwanted activity is now being developed. And with this organized activity, it historically will reduce the amount of police incident calls to this area for unwanted behavior. So definite positive for the neighborhood, an excellent plan, and one we look forward to seeing coming to fruition.
Chris, I'll ask you. I'm just going to guess that you can answer it, but if not, point it elsewhere. The border with, let's just say, one I-90, and I'm assuming that DOT has been involved with this and doesn't have any issues or anything with this.
We have let Mike Carlson and DOT know of this project. They haven't given us any initial comments back, but we will be coordinating with them once we get into design.
Yeah, I didn't see any structures or anything up
No.
there, so I couldn't imagine there was any conflict, but I just had to ask. Vicky, yeah, I gotta find you. Got it.
It's our standard protocol to route these applications to DOT as well.
Okay.
We didn't receive any comments of concern either.
All right, Vince.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, you talked about the wetland down on the east side, and what about the upland wetland? There's nothing that's going to be done with that specifically?
It will be conditioned, dredged, so it improves function. But other than that, both of the wetlands will remain intact as they are now.
Okay, thank you.
Kelly, did you have something else, or did I just leave your mic on?
I left it on.
All right, anything else from the commission? Questions, comments? So we're on item 3 right now. Is there a motion on item 3?
Oh,
All right. Mike Quasney made the motion to approve item 3, and Vince seconded that motion. Any discussion on the motion to rezone this property? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So we'll go to item number 4 then, which is the rezoning of the MDR property. Any questions on this one? Clarification needed?
Move to approve.
All right. Karen made the motion to approve item 4, and Haven seconded that motion. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, that's the end of the regular agenda. Vicky, any items to discuss today?
Just quickly, so we did receive numerous applications for your next planning commission meeting. We reviewed them as a team yesterday. Some are not ready to come forward, but several are. I'm going to give you a heads up that we do have some contentious issues, so it could be a lively meeting next time. Come prepared.
All right. Anything from the commission today anyone has to discuss? Motion? Oh, Mike Quasney.
I would just like to compliment the city for the parks, and I think this addition that they've got here will be a great addition, especially for this neighborhood. I think it's a needed area for the kids and for just the public in general. So I really am glad that Rapid City has taken on these things and done such a nice job with them. So thank you.
Well said, Mike. I before the meeting, I was trying to remember to say something like that because I feel like we asked for parks a lot up here, and we're getting one. So, thank you, Mike. Anything else? Motion to adjourn? All right. Karen made the motion to adjourn.
second.
Vince seconded that motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.